It's late at night. The room is quiet. The world outside has gone still. And there you are, lying in bed or staring at the ceiling, having a conversation with someone who isn't there. Maybe you're calmly explaining yourself to someone who misunderstood you 3 days ago. Maybe you're rehearsing exactly what you'll say tomorrow. The perfect words, the perfect tone. Maybe you're having an argument you know will never actually happen, but you play it out anyway, word by word, response by response, until you've won it completely. And then, silence. And the thought creeps in. What is wrong with me? You wonder if normal people do this. You assume they don't. So you never tell anyone. You close that door quietly and then carry it alone. But here is what no one ever told you. The fact that your brain does this is not a flaw. It is a feature, and a rare one. You've spent years performing. Out there, in the world, you show up. You smile at the right moments. You say the acceptable things. You read the room, adjust your tone, carefully choose your words so no one sees too much of what's really happening inside. And it works, mostly, but it costs you something. Every conversation you walk away from, you replay it. You analyze what you said, what they said, what you should have said. You find the one sentence you could have delivered better, and you fixate. Not because you're insecure, but because your brain refuses to leave it unfinished. You go home, you close the door, and the rehearsals begin. You play out the version where you spoke up, the version where you stayed calm, the version where you finally said the thing you've been swallowing for months. You run through their possible responses, and you prepare for every single one. And from the outside, if anyone could see inside your mind, they might call it obsessive. They might call it anxious. They might say, just let it go. But you can't let it go, because something deep inside you knows, Nita, this matters. Getting it right matters. And that exhaustion you feel, that quiet, heavy tiredness after a long social day, that isn't weakness. That is the cost of running a very powerful machine. The world has a word for people like you. Overthinker. They say it like it's a disease. Like the solution is to simply think less, feel less, process less. Stop living in your head, they say. You're making it weird. Society rewards the person who reacts fast, who speaks without hesitation, who moves through life without looking back. It has no framework for the person who prepares, who simulates, who treats every important human interaction like it deserves serious thought. So it labels you anxious, neurotic, unstable, and for a long time, you believed them. You shouldn't have. Here is what is actually happening inside your brain. There is a documented cognitive process called episodic future thinking. It is the ability to mentally project yourself forward in time, to pre-experience events that haven't happened yet, in vivid, emotional, sensory detail. And it is directly controlled by one of the most sophisticated structures in the entire human brain, the prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex is not just thinking, it is simulating. Like a flight simulator before a real mission, your brain is running full predictive models of social reality. It is testing variables, calculating emotional responses, optimizing your communication for maximum clarity and minimum conflict. It is doing, in the privacy of your mind, what most people can only attempt in the chaos of real time. And here is what the neuroscience says clearly. This capacity is not evenly distributed. Studies show that higher prefrontal cortex activity is directly correlated with higher fluid intelligence, stronger long-term planning, and deeper social cognition. The brains that cannot do this don't rehearse, because they literally lack the cognitive architecture to simulate complex future scenarios with emotional accuracy. They react, you prepare. There is a difference between a person who walks into a difficult conversation blind and a person who has already run 17 versions of it and knows exactly where the landmines are. One of them is you, what you call anxiety. Neuroscience calls predictive social modeling. What you call obsession, psychology calls threat-optimized preparation. What you call something wrong with me is your brain refusing to be caught off guard. You are not spiraling. You are preloading reality. Stop calling it a problem. You don't have a glitch. You have a gift that came without a manual, and no one around you is sophisticated enough to explain it. Every rehearsed conversation is your brain quietly doing its job, protecting you, preparing you, equipping you with something most people will never have in any high-stakes moment: clarity under pressure. The world doesn't need you to think less. The world needs you to finally understand what your thinking is. So the next time you catch yourself alone, rehearsing, simulating, preparing for a conversation that may never come, don't apologize for it. Don't try to silence it. Don't mistake depth for dysfunction. You were never broken. You were just operating at a level that most people don't have a word for. Stop trying to fix the most intelligent thing about you.